Hello and welcome to today's video about cyber threat and security. In today's time, we are using internet for most of the work, be it for banking, learning, any kind of registration, getting legal work done, getting some kind of a legal document. With the pandemic, we are working from home. Kids are taking classes from the comfort and safety of their homes. The use of computers and smart devices have also increased. No doubt it has made our life and work easy, but it has some hidden risks as well. We are using different applications, we are sharing data online, registering ourselves with different sites, and if we are not careful and do not take the safety measures, then it could lead us into trouble. There are various incidents where on the due to the negligent and carefree attitude of the people while surfing the internet, or due to uh, their act of clicking on different links, they have given a way to the cyber attackers to get access to their personal information and system. So there could be various reasons, not only the surfing of the carefree behavior while surfing the internet. There could be other reasons which could lead to cyber crimes and cyber threats if we are not careful while sharing our personal data online. If we are for example, if we are using these smart devices and any link which we are getting, and without giving a second thought we click on those links, or we reply to some messages which is asking for our personal information, then it could be a threat to us. We are passing on our personal information to an unknown person who might use it for illegal purposes. So there could be various reasons which could lead to various kinds of crimes and thefts. So plus there are security loopholes also. If you are using a Wi-Fi connection which is not secure, you do not have a password, and anybody around you can use that internet connection, he or she might use it for some illegal. In this video we will discuss the various cyber threats and what safety measures should be taken to avoid. The first thing which comes to our mind is cybercrime. What is a cybercrime? It refers to all the criminal activities done using the computer, internet, world wide web, cyberspace. So in simple terms, in simple words, any crime committed using the computer and the internet to steal your personal data or information, any kind of illegal activity, any site running malicious program to tamper your information or the computer, it all falls under your cyber crime. Now the reason of this cyber crime could be a monetary gain. It could be to create fear and or terror or any kind of chaos among the people. It could be to damage the reputation of a person, maybe a company, or it could be cyberbullying or stalking, to disrupt any business continuity, to tamper somebody's image and to ruin their business. It could be a reason. Data theft is definitely a sole cause of cybercrime, to get hold of the somebody's personal data and to use it for any kind of an illegal. Since we are talking about cybercrime, so definitely there will be a law to get hold of those criminals and to punish the criminals. So we have the cyber law, which is used to describe the legal issues related to the use of communication technology, that is your cyberspace and the internet. And in India it is governed by the Indian IT Act 2008. This law was created in in the year 2000, and it covers all transactions over the internet. It touches every action and every reaction in the cyber space. Now it also keeps an eye on all the activities which is going on the internet. This is a new law created in the year 2000. For each illegal action, there are laws and there are punishments which are being stated in the cyber law. Every now and then, when new crime is surfaces, or new crime is being comes to the knowledge of the people working on these law, amendments are being made from time and again to cover all these criminal activities. Now let's get into an insight of the history of cyber crime. Now the first crime was recorded in the year 1820. The first spam email which was being sent was in the year 1978, and the first virus which was installed was on an Apple computer in the year 1982. Now this is just a few points over here, but there are various incidents where different crimes have been committed. People have been affected badly, be it the monetary loss or data theft. Then there are various incidents where the crime was committed either on a large scale or on a small scale. Some were being reported, some went unreported, unmentioned. Now why did that happen? Because due to the lack of awareness among the people as where and how to report, and what are the procedures which should be followed, where to go and report such incidents. If it's a monetary loss, how to get the money back, or if it's a defamation case, then what procedures should be followed over there. Any kind of bullying or stalking, if it is happening, then sometimes people do not have proper knowledge about these laws, so these cases go unreported. So there are various incidents, we cannot mention all of them over here. These are just a few incidents which I have mentioned over here. Let's talk about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, it is the computer security, internet security, or IT security. It is the protection of the computer system and networks from information disclosure, any kind of theft or damage of the data or damage of the hardware and software, any electronic device, disruption of services, your any kind of disruption of the sites, your attack or damage, any unauthorized access to your system, they all come under your cyber security. Why do we need cyber security? Definitely, since we are using computers, we are using the internet to secure our data from any kind of theft or misuse, to protect ourselves from any unauthorized access, modification and deletion of data, to safeguard our system from viruses. We all know that if we are using a site and there are chances that we click on certain links or we open certain mails, then we can download. Since viruses and these malicious program, they are just written program, they could be downloaded on our system, which could steal our information, which could delete our files, which could hack our system. So just to protect ourselves, we need to take all these cyber security measures and to secure ourselves from the cyber crime. Now cyber crime itself, it's a very vast term. It could be bullying, phishing, spoofing, any virus. It could be and number of things could come under cyber crime. It could be for ransom, it could be for any kind of a monetary gain or ransom, or for some kind of a data. They could ask for some favors. So now the term cyber crime, is not just limited to data theft. It has gone beyond data theft. We'll be seeing those things in here itself in this video. There are various threats. When we talk about cyber threats, and these are just a few points which I have listed over here. The list is endless. Like I have stated, malware, phishing, spoofing, you have cyber stalking, your password attacks are there, any kind of denial of services are there, you have drive-by downloads, you have drive-by attack, you could have cross site scripting attacks, eavesdrop attack. There are, the list is endless. So we'll be discussing a few of them, that few threats, the common threats which we face while we are surfing the internet, and how to avoid these threatening conditions. The first threat which we will discuss is malware. Now, malware, they are the software, they are the written instructions, written programs designed to cause damage to your computer system or the computer network. Now, there are different types of malicious program. It could be a virus, it could be a Trojan horse, it could be a program written to get installed on your system and then lock some files or delete some file and ask for a ransom. It could be an adware, like an advertisement, or it could be a spyware who is secretly been installed on your system and then taking up the information and then passing on to somebody else. So they could be any kind of a program though. So programs, though those programs are also considered as malware if they secretly act against the interests of the computer users. So those programs are also termed as malware. Next threat which we have is phishing. Now, it is an attempt to acquire sensitive information such as your usernames and password, maybe your bank details, credit card details, directly from the users by deceiving them. It could be done using the emails, using phone calls, using instant messaging. Now, when we talk about emails, instant messaging, what happens is, now if we talk about email phishing, you get a mail where you have a link, you are being asked to click on that particular link, then you are directed to another site where your details are being asked. You need to enter your details, and then your personal information is being shared by someone, or maybe you get a phone call stating that it is from a bank and they ask for your detail, or they make an offer to you about a new credit card, or maybe they tell you ki you have an account with so and so bank, and the bank, since you are a regular customer, the bank is offering you a platinum card or a lifetime membership card, or maybe a card where you can do the shopping online. Then slowly they'll ask you for your personal details, bank account number and other such information, which will make you feel, which will look and make you feel almost identical to the legitimate one, but their purpose is to get the information from you. So care should be taken if you are getting such calls or mails, not to click on those links, not to respond to those sites, because usually bank do not make a call and ask you for your personal details, or they do not send you these mails where you have to fill in your personal information. That is always done using the banking sites. Now, secure, I should say secure banking sites. How you can check whether a site is secure or not, we'll discuss when we talk about the safety measures. Next comes your spoofing. Now, it is the act of disguising a communication from a known source. Maybe it looks like it is from a known trusted source, but the person is trying to get information from you. Now, it can also be through phone calls, through websites, through messaging. It could be more technical, like a computer spoofing, an IP address or address resolution protocol, or domain name server. It could also be a kind of a character spoofing. When we talk about character spoofing, it means like if you are trying to open a website, there some characters are replaced by different characters, and instead of directing you to the original website, it directs you to a fake website where your information is being used. So like for example, a very simple example, instead of O, if you are typing, instead of O, it has been replaced by zeros. That name of that website, instead of O, it is replaced by 0. There will be a fake website where you will be directed and your information will be taken. Next threat which people often face if they are using the internet, they could be a victim of cyber stalking. Not always, but they could be a victim of cyber stalking, where using the internet or the electronic means, somebody is trying to harass you, maybe an individual or a group, or they are making directing their voices against a organization, just to make false accusation, to defame them. Maybe it is the purpose of cyber stalking could be threats, maybe any kind of identity theft, maybe blackmailing. Now bullying and cyber stalking, it could lead to some kind of a favor also, some blackmailing into, and then making you fall into a trap where advantage could be taken from you. So when we talk about stalking over here, it leads to serious, it could lead to serious consequences like lower self-esteem, or the person could become scared, frustrated. So it has serious consequences, I should say. Next one which we have is cyberbullying. Now it is a form of a harassment using the electronic means or any digital media or digital space. And usually it is done on the social media sites. Now it could be spreading rumors about you, maybe some kind of threats about you, or leaking your personal information. Now a person who is being bullied, the victim could experience some negative emotional responses. You could be scared. It could even lead to increased suicidal thoughts. So it has also both cyberbullying and cyber stalking. If somebody is being stalked or bullied, it has very mental, it could mentally disturb the person. It could have serious consequences. So these are some of the threats which people could face while using the internet if they are not careful enough. Next which we have is maladvertising. Now it is the use of online advertisement to spread malicious software. What the person does is they inject the malicious programs into the legitimate or the legal online advertising networks and web pages. You cannot make out which one is the genuine one and which one is the fake one. Then once you click on those advertising advertisements, you are being directed, you are given various lucrative offers, and they are attractive because they can be easily spread across legitimate website without directly compromising those websites. So sometimes you get offers or messages on your phone, free gift, you are getting free gift, or a so and so company is on its 30th anniversary celebration or 50th anniversary celebration, they are giving 30 free gifts, so please be the first one to click on this and register yourself to get the free gift. So those are all maladvertisings. Now these days, not only just internet, you are getting these messages on WhatsApps also. Then here I would like to mention, sometimes it happens that while we are using the phone like WhatsApp, so there are people who are posting such messages. So care should be taken not to click on those links as well if you do not know the person, and if you think that it could be dangerous to click on those links. Next we have the password attack. Now simple, most of the time we face this because it simply refers to your password being stolen by a hacker. This happens when you have a very simple, easy to hack password, which could be used by the hackers to steal in your personal information by logging into your account. Now the password which you are having, maybe it's a very simple, easy to guess. You could easily make it out using the different combinations and permutations. Maybe it is just 1 2 3 4 5, or your name, your date of birth, your family member's name. So care should be taken to have a strong password to avoid such password attacks. Now most of the time people think I'll be able to remember the date of birth of my husband or my son, or your flat number or your phone number. So they make use of those numbers or names as the password, but they are very easy to crack, and it is not secure enough to have such easy passwords. Next threat which we have is the denial of services, which is a cyber attack in which the person seeks to make the machine or network resources unavailable for a temporary a limited period of time, or indefinitely disrupting the services of a host connected to the internet. Now this is achieved using multiple computerized system which overloads the target system with the request, making it incapable of responding to any query. Now the incoming traffic flooding the victim originates from different sources. Blocking a single source makes it impossible to stop the attacker. Now what happened is the traffic has been directed to the services in such a way that a genuine person is not able to get those services. So it's a case of your denial of services, which could be for some limited period of time, or for indefinitely those services can be interrupted. Next threat which we could face is the man in the middle. It has various names. It's a cyber attack where the attacker it secretly relays, or it possibly we could say they alter the communication which is happening between two people. Both the people who are having a conversation, and there's a person in between, he or she makes them believe that they are having a direct communication with each other. In fact, what happens is the attacker within the reception range of an unencrypted Wi-Fi access point, that is the Wi-Fi which they are using, the connection which they are using, it is not secure, and he or she could insert themselves in the middle of their conversation. So the attacker makes independent connections with the victims and relays messages between them to make them believe that they are talking directly to each other. In fact, what happens is they are having a conversation which is controlled by the attacker. The attacker is able to intercept all the messages, all the relevant information, or the messages which is being passed between them, between the two people who are having a conversation, and he injects his own messages in between and tries to gather in the information while having a conversation. Another threat which I would like to discuss is the SQL injection attack. Now it's a code injection technique used to attack the data driven application, and its purpose is to perform a denial of it. One of the purpose could be to perform a denial of services attack. Now they insert the SQL statements into the database. Now why it is being done? It is done to infect the database, to compromise the underlying security of the database servers, to make some modification to the data, to delete the data which is present. So they are trying to forcefully enter in some query or some SQL statements into the database to disrupt the services. So here we will discuss some of the safety measures which should be undertaken by all who are using the internet to pass on the information, or maybe for entertainment purposes, or in everyday usage. These safety measures should be followed by all. The first thing which I would like to talk is, if you are using a computer or a laptop, or any such devices, you should have an antivirus installed on your system. Now the antivirus should be updated from time to time. You should run it on your system from time to time to check if any malicious activity is being carried out on your system or not. Now the latest one should be used, because every day new programs, malicious programs are being written to get into the people's system. So it should be strong enough, the antivirus should be strong enough to detect these malwares, different types of malicious programs. Now you should update it regularly, you should run it up daily. Maybe you can schedule it so that it runs every day on its own, or you can manually run those softwares. Firewall. Now most of this operating system which we get these days, it has a firewall already in place. Now it prevents unauthorized access to your system. Now it is a software that can help in preventing unauthorized access to your computer by blocking those unauthorized communications. It could be a software, it could be a hardware device also, which you can install. You should have a secure password whenever you are creating a password. It should be strong enough, it should be a combination of your numbers, alphabets, special characters. Plus you should regularly change those password. Not care should be taken not to share your password with anyone. If you are using or a computer at somebody else's place, try to clear out, once you have used a site, try to clear out the history so that that password is not saved on that computer. Plus changing it from time to time and having a stronger password will provide protection to your accounts. Regular updates should be done, your system should be updated regularly. Whatever software you are using on your system, it should be updated regularly, because they have patches coming every now and then. If your software is not updated, then it will leave your computer open to security threats. Now care should also be taken not to use pirated software, because if it is a pirated software, there are also chances that various loopholes are there which could prove vulnerable for your system. But since we are talking about regular updates, let's talk about backing up our data regularly. Now you should back up. Since you are using the system or any kind of a device, you should regularly take a backup of your data, so that even if something happens to your system due to any kind of a program or any failure is there, you have a backup anytime. Now you are having confidential data, you are having sensitive information on your system, you can use encryption to make sure that your data is safe. So you can have a backup of your data. You can share the while you are sharing the data, you can share it in the encrypted hand, so that it is not leaked, it does not go into the wrong hand. You should make sure that your data is encrypted by using encryption software to protect it from unauthorized access. Now when we talk about two-way authentication these days, when you are doing any kind of an online transaction, any kind of a payment, together with logging into your account and using a gateway for payment, you have to enter the OTP which has been sent to you on your registered mobile devices. So that is a two-way authentication to make sure that only a authorized person who is having that mobile device is making the payment or making the transaction. Whenever you are making an online transaction, maybe through mobile devices, or you are purchasing something and you are paying, or you are using any banking site to transfer any amount, care should be taken that you have a secure connection between yourself and those sites. Now whenever you are typing the username and password, do not use them on any unsecured connection. Always when you are visiting any site, look for those padlock sign, the lock sign which is there with the URL or the website's name. You could look for that. If it is open, that means that site is not secure. when you get a link, you can even if it is from an authorized sources, somebody has passed you those links, you can look for the HTTP and HTTPS, which HTTPS indicates that it is a secure connection. Then care should be taken not to click on those links, those advertisement links. But if you are using any site, there you can check for the padlock and the HTTPS. When we talk about phishing, now phishing and secure smartphone security, care should, when we are talking about phishing, care should be taken not to share any personal details while getting any random calls, not clicking on any link which is being provided to us, not sharing any details over there, not responding to any messages which is asking, okay, you can work for 2 hours and then you can earn so and so money. So those are all deceptive messages. Any kind of deceptive messages, any kind of unauthorized links which you get, care should be taken not to click on them, not to open them. Such in your mailbox also, in your mail account also, you get so many mails. Care should be taken not to click on each and every mail, like free magazines, the health department is giving you this gift voucher, or some library is giving you, if you are not registered with that library or magazine, or you get so many spam mails also. So care should be taken, you should be careful, and these are all safety measures that should be taken. Then you should ensure smartphone security. Now if you are using the smartphone for use, you open various social networking sites, you open entertainment sites, you make use of App Store, Play Store. When you are downloading any application, you should check, yes, it is the genuine one or not. Not randomly installing any application, not sharing in your personal details over there. If there are certain application who say ki free trial is there, just provide your credit card details, you can try it out, will not charge you anything. There are these sites. So when you're installing any application, you should check, yes, they are from the genuine source or not. While surfing the internet and then using any banking site, care should be taken to close all other open application and clear all history and cookies, and then open the banking sites and to do any transaction online. Okay, these are the few safety measures which should be taken to protect ourselves from any kind of a cyber crime. Then there are, since we are talking about cyber crimes and cyber security, there are various opportunities in this field also. You could take up, once your basic learning is being done, you have done your basic education, you can go in for these specialization course also. You could be an architect, a security architect, and an engineer. You could be a developer, you could study cyber law and work with the cyber security department. You could help the police department if you are into cracking the system and you want to help the agencies and the departments. You could work with them also to unlock the various devices which they get hold of from various sites, and you can definitely help them out in an ethical way. So those careers could be taken up in the field of cyber security also. In today's video, we have discussed few threats and the basic security measures which should be taken by all those who are using the internet. Now, by taking a few precautionary steps, we can save ourselves and our data from falling into the wrong hands. These are the few safety tips. These are, I should not say the safety tips, I should say these are the guidelines which should be followed by everyone while using the internet, while using the any kind of an electronic device to surf the internet. By following these steps, you can keep yourself safe from falling into wrong hands. Hope you all found the information useful. Stay tuned for upcoming videos. Till then, take care and thank you for watching the video.